Greetings, this is Skylar Saunders Singh. What's current? Killer Mike arrested after the Grammys. Clean sweep. Best rap album. Best rap performance. What was the other one? He had three. Let me make sure I have it all together. Best rap. So I was doing a little research earlier. Let me see. Best rap song, best rap performance, and best rap album. So for his Michael. Now I was listening to that today. It's a decent album, decent record. I can get down with it. Let me first address that was like my cold open. It's been a while, probably a little over a week. I was very consistent. I hadn't missed a day of work. This is work, by the way. I get paid for this. But I haven't missed a day since October. So that's a long stretch. And I needed a little bit of time off, but it was an unexpected time off. This wasn't scheduled. This is because of a death in a family friend had died. And I'm going to talk about that later on in the show. But for now, I'm going to go on this Killer Mike thing. It's the biggest story in hip hop. He had a clean sweep. This is the blues of the black man. August, the late great, profound and astonishing August Wilson once said, he had a blues story. He said Balboa, the whole world was his ocean and he was drowning. That's it. In the story, that's the whole, way of drama, of life, of the blues, of, you can have everything in the world. You can have the whole world to yourself, but you can be drowning in it. It's just that dichotomy, just that difference that makes it all the more interesting. And for drama, it makes it more dramatic and tragic at times, or comedic. So that's the best part of this whole different outlook on things. But yeah, so Killer Mike arrested after the Grammys after winning, his 3 Grammys. Why? Why was he arrested? Well, I looked into it. He apparently got into a little altercation with a security guard, and it's weird because this is what the family friend would say: security. Like, he was very adamant about saying that, just at certain random times. But that's just a personal matter for me. But in a coincidence in my eyes. Yeah. So he allegedly, and maybe not allegedly, because I think it was on video. He knocked down a security guard. He's a big guy. He's 6'3", over 300 pounds. He's like a linebacker. So, if you're getting knocked down by Killer Mike, you're going to the deck. So he allegedly, I don't know. It still was kind of weird how the angle was. I didn't see exactly what happened. But I just saw him, in handcuffs, being marched away. But at least it was, after he won the award. That would have been very awkward. He's arrested and he's got the handcuffs behind his back, and they got the award about to hand it over to him, but he can't get it. But apparently everything was cleaned up. And I just want to delve into who Killer Mike is. Killer Mike is a racist. Yes, I said it. He is a racist. And this is not in the sense of Ayn Rand's phenomenal, earth-shattering essay, Racism, but this is in the sense of the strict dictionary version of it. No ethical, attachment to it. Just plainly what it means. Not prejudicial. Not looking down upon other races. It just simply means, one's interest in one's own race. That's basically what it means. That's all it means. One's acceptance in one's own race. And that's what Killer Mike has. He grew up in an atmosphere where there was predominantly, if not, totally, a black, experience. He had about 3 white teachers as opposed to having multiple white teachers and multiple white other students or multiple black students. He went to Frederick Douglass High School, the same high school as T.I. That's why you hear in their vocabulary and their diction such words as expeditiously and things like that, because they had a principal. His name escapes me now, but they had a principal that, you know, would instill in them and encourage them to have a wider range of thought and speaking manner. So I think, you know, that rubbed off on Killer Mike to the extent that he was able to say, I'm going to speak with, you know, proper diction. I'm going to carry myself as though I am, you know, worthy. I'm a man of color, and I'm not going to demean anybody else's race, but I'm not going to, you know, let anybody else degrade me for my skin color. So, you know, it's just amazing to see him, you know, getting arrested after the Grammys. That's a blues song. You know, that's classic black man in America status, you know? You win the awards, then you go off in handcuffs. Then you're going to jail. Well, he didn't go to jail, but he got he was you know, taken out of handcuffs, I'm sure, and you know, maybe he may be even suing the person that, you know, may have, you know, blocked his way or had some kind of, you know, altercation with. He may be suing them. It may not even be the other way around. You know, you expect them to be suing him. Such is not the case, it seems. But he took it. He took it. You know, he took his lumps. He walked. He didn't, you know, try to, you know, wrestle or fight against or, you know, go against the people that were there restraining him. He walked calmly. He walked with dignity. He held his head high, and you know, that was probably one of the better scenes that could have happened, you know, regarding, you know, security and black performers. But like I said, Killer Mike is a racist, and that is not to malign him. That is not to denigrate him. That's just to show you what a fact is. He cares for black people. He gives a damn. And like I said, it's a totally different context than what I'm saying, you know, what Ayn Rand said racism is. What she said is a barnyard or stockyard version of collectivism. You know, the collectivist ideal of racism is my skin color is white. I only like white people. I'm yellow. I only like yellow people. I'm red, brown, black. I only like black people. The difference is with a racist that, and I'm saying the context for Killer Mike is he really has a love and concern and an interest in black people. He doesn't dismiss white people. He doesn't, you know, prejudge white or brown or red or yellow people. He just, you know, has a specific interest for blacks, his own race. And that's the only thing I'm saying. He's not going to be, you know, derogatory towards anyone else. That's the key. So if you have, you know, this idea of him, you know, being a brute, this big old you know, bear Negro, you know, shoving people around and knocking them down and getting arrested and winning Grammys, it's a totally different state. It's a totally different status because he comes from a business minded, you know, family. You know, his mom, you know, worked in different fields, and his grandfather was his father or his grandfather, I think it was his grandfather, was a dump truck driver. You know, they had different, you know, statuses. I mean, they said, you know, like I said with August Wilson, he had in this play Fences. You know, you know, they were questioning, you know, about being the drivers of the truck. You know, that's a step above being, you know, the men on the back of the truck getting the garbage. You could be the driver. He was a dump truck driver. So it's just little differences in, you know, his upbringing and how, you know, the people in his family functioned. So he had that. He had the schooling. He went to Morehouse. He went to the same college that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. attended. He had that same kind of upbringing, same kind of philosophy, same kind of ideology, that was passed down through, his very many family members and friends and people that are around him, and his teachers and professors. So it just he made some mistakes, sure, okay. He was going for Barry Sanders. Did I say Barry Sanders? Oh my God! Hold on, I didn't mean Barry Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Excuse me. Not the. I think he was a running back. Not Barry Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Excuse me. Bernie Sanders. He voted for twice in 2016 and 2020. So he made an error there. I mean, Bernie Sanders is on the way left field of the left, and he's just as bad as Donald Trump, who's on the way right field of the right. Well, technically not way right field, but he suggests, and he gives little hints at being a part of the right. The outrageous right. And same thing with Bernie Sanders. He's on the outrageous left. I disagree with both. A pox upon both houses, as Mercutio said in Shakespeare's masterpiece, or one of his masterpieces, Romeo and Juliet. So, we have to address this. This has to be addressed. This has to be, known. This has to be said. We have to, give credit to his entire upbringing, his whole life. I didn't experience this life. I was in the Benetton ad life when I was coming up. I had, yellow people, red people, brown people, white people, black people. It looked like a Benetton ad. There was all kinds of colors and different people and races and religions that you didn't really know. You just assumed, okay, they're not eating fish on Friday, so they're not eating meat on Friday, so they must be Catholic or something like that. And the school is only serving fish, so they must consider the amount of people that don't eat any meat on Friday to be thought of. They're not eating any of the pork hot dogs. They want the beef. They must be Muslims. Okay, we gotta understand. See, it was little tiny social issues. Not even in school. Just getting your lunch together. We had that, but with Killer Mike, it was a totally different situation. It was mainly like all black, maybe one white student in the whole entire school, or maybe no white students. Period. It was a totally different upbringing for him, and I respect that. That's why I say he's a racist. He was an absolute racist. He cares for black people, and he has a specific interest in black people. He has a barbershop, and he's people ask him, do you take white people? Yeah. Haircuts can go up to $60 or more. Of course I take white people. I take their green dollar over everything. The money's green. Don't care if you're white, black, brown, red, yellow, white. Nothing. They don't care. The dollar doesn't care. Dollar's gonna be green. No matter what, even in the digital world, if you use your watch or your iPhone or your card, your phone, it doesn't see black people, it doesn't see white people, it doesn't see brown people, it doesn't see red people, it doesn't see yellow people. It just sees a purchase being made, a trade being transacted, and that is beautiful. That's an aspect of capitalism. That's great. That's commercialism. That's a very good thing. That's a pro thing. It's very good. But I think it's worthy of being said that Killer Mike, I heard his album Michael, and it's worthy of a Grammy. I mean, I could listen to other albums and say Damn, that should have been the Grammy. That should have won the Grammy. But this year I listened to, I think, King's Disease 3 and Travis Scott's Utopia. And I would say Michael probably could beat those. Even Nas's flow and his diction and everything like that. I still didn't see anything else come close to what Michael was. Michael is a spiritual, gospel, hard rap, hard hip hop, hard hitting, smart, very intelligent, well rapped verses. I try to get a feel exactly for what it was. I remember Killer Mike from way back. This is how old my dumbass is. This is going back to 2001, 2000. Stankonia, he was on there. 2002, he was with Jay-Z, Big Boy, Sleepy Brown, and Poppin' Tags. And then he was in Adidas. He got his first Grammy with Outkast with The Whole World. So he has 4 Grammys in total. But he did a feat that I don't know if anybody has done that before. Has completely swept the rap category of the Grammys. Best rap performance, best song, and best album. So he may be the first. I didn't do the research too much on that part. I try to get for who the man was and his mission and what he purports himself to be. It's a weird kind of situation where it's like I said, it's the blues. You got to have one part, but you don't have all of it. You got the Kool-Aid, you don't got the sugar. You got the you got the peanut butter, you don't got the jelly. It's always something good, and then you're missing something. Something's wrong. Something isn't quite right. Something's not going well. But you got this really strong thing, but it's just not gelling correctly. It's not going well. Everything's not going into your hand. Everything is not perfect. It's not ideal. So that's what the Greeks talked about. That's what as I mentioned before, Shakespeare talked about. That's what August Wilson talked about. It's the same idea. It's the same human condition. We have joy and pain. We have ups and downs. We have grievances. We have triumphs and travails. We have all of that mixed up, and that's what makes humanity what it is. We have Apollo 11, a glorious, wonderful achievement that people still denounce and we didn't go to the moon. Oh my God, we're complete bullshit like that. Completely wrong and not true. But we did actually land on the moon. That is a fact. You can't refute that. That's facts. Michael Collins, Buzz Aldrin, and Neil Armstrong definitely made it to the moon, even if Michael Collins didn't get out of the space capsule. And Buzz Aldrin was second, but Neil Armstrong was the first one that said, "That's one small step for a man." He said a. You have to pick it up. He says, "A man, one giant leap for mankind." That's one of the most poetic, beautiful statements ever uttered by anybody in this entire universe. Because you can't say on the Earth, you can't say on this planet. You gotta say on the moon. In the universe. So I digress, don't I? I run around a little bit, didn't I? But no, Killer Mike, he had the whole idea, going down perfectly. He had it going down. He had this clean suit, all black, makes him look thinner. It didn't look like he was busting out of the seams or anything. It was very tailored, very clean, looking sharp. Holding the 3 Grammys in his hands. Then you get the report, Killer Mike arrested by like, what? You were just getting your Grammys. What are you doing getting arrested? What's going on here? Like, what was that about? Who drew up that play? that was kind of shocking in a way. That was a weird kind of awakening. That was strange. But yeah, so it was very, confounding to have him, start to see other things that were not, you know, to start to see other things that were not, the case, not true. He was seeing, a crowd of people around him. There was like 3 or 4 people, I think, around him with the handcuffs, when he had his handcuffs behind his back. He was just walking smoothly, calmly, wasn't defiant, but the only thing, he had his head held high. He wasn't looking down. He wasn't, trying to cover his face in shame or anything. I think he was riding high off the 3 Grammy ring, the sweep, especially, and not only that. That's one aspect of it. It's just his upbringing. It's his grandfather, his mother, his grandmother. The idea that he's, might have been a drug dealer for some time. His excellent education that he received. That really drove him. He went to all kinds of different, lengths to let it be known that, he's a 48-year-old, or he says he's 48, or it's been noted that he's been 48, but he'll be 50 in a few years, either a couple years or a few years. I'm still trying to figure out what, his exact age is. I think he's actually 47, and he'll be 50 in 3 years, because they said 48. I think they just added because of the year, but his birthday doesn't come up till April 20th. The same birthday as who knows the same birthday? I got 2 people in here. I need 2 likes, and whoever you are, speak up in the top chat. Holla at your boy. I'm back in black. Hit the sack. Get the noose. Cut loose, or whatever they say. Who said that? That's 2 people you got named. But I'll name them. It's Adolf Hitler and AC/DC. So he was born on Hitler's birthday. On he was born after Hitler and before Columbine, of course. And those 2 dates will forever live in infamy for that. But he had nothing to do with it. He just, but he says that on his album. I was born on Hitler's birthday. But yeah, so it is amazing. He says, after 50 years, a man from Atlanta, sweeping the Grammys. That's extraordinary. Getting the Grammy, almost turning 50 himself. That's extraordinary. That's a wonderful event. However, had to be the blues, had to get arrested, had to have something to mar you, have something to make it not, so, like the late great August Wilson said, that's all you, that's the shortest story ever written, he would say, and that's all you got to say. That sums up all of his work. That sums up everything, in humanity, in human life. Because it's never going to be perfect, physically. You can be morally perfect. You can have moral perfection. You can be morally upright in all your dealings, of course. But, just in the sense of events happening to you, events, going against you, deaths in the family, and, people mistreating you and things like that. That's just the blues. That's just what comes with the territory of being a human being. That's the detriment. That's the sad part. That's what makes it, very, harsh to realize. So I don't have it. So you have to consider that. You have to consider that. That's one thing that has to be considered. Let me make sure I get my sponsors in. If you want to have sea moss that I haven't tested yet, if you want to have gummies that I haven't tested yet, go to this site. It's Peng's products from LifeStrongCo.apparel. And the .com is, the website is Lifestrong, LIFESTRONG apparel, APPAPAREL .com, of course. So, and if you want to have more, you go to lifestrongapparel.com for more information. All right, you have to check out B Jackson. This guy checked up on me. He wanted to make sure I was okay. He sent me an email. He said, email me, man. I'm gonna send you, this little bit of money right here. That's what I got. Make sure you're strong. So you're all right. He sent that to me. It was all good. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it. So go to BEEJACKSON 5478 on YouTube. Tell them Skylar Saunders, me, sent you. Also, subscribe to Spirit Smooth Tunes on YouTube.com. Tell them Skylar Saunders sent you. Tell them I sent you. He has your smooth jazz. He's got your quiet storm. He's got your R&B. He's got your neo soul. He's got your soul. He's got all that combined in different collections. It's a great site to check out, listen to while you're studying, sleeping, or having a special time with your partner. Everybody likes those special times. But check out Spirit Smooth Tunes. That's SPIRITSMOOTHTUNES on YouTube.com. Also, check out twitch.tv/.focus. That's twitch.tv.focus, DOTFOCUS _ just one underscore. Just hit the underscore once and you'll be all right. And for me, if you want to advertise and sponsorship, you got to have that Skrilla. Not too much. All you got to have is we'll discuss. We're going to discuss what could be used. But it's Skylar Saunders, SKYLERSAUNDERS @gmail.com. And you can join Skylar's 100 Club by contributing $100 or more in a month in this broadcast. All you got to do is say, look, I want to have $100. Boom. You send it to me. I give you a wrench. You can promote your businesses, not take people into timeout or moderate them, just for business. You can put up whatever site you want, just to put in the business. All right, so PayPal, paypal.me/Skylar Saunders, Venmo @SKYLERIZED, Skylarized, @Skylarized for Venmo, and my favorite, Cash App, $SKYLERSAUNDERS1. So I appreciate that. Thank you for all my sponsors. We can continue. All right, so we have Killer Mike, a racist, a complete racist. I said it. He is a racist. He's one of the most intelligent, most thought-provoking, consistent, and just, put your nose to the grindstone. Always, he's an example of never giving up. Been in the game for 20 years. He didn't come out the gate, the first night, like Lauryn Hill, something like that, had she had like 8 Grammys or something like that. I don't remember how many she had. She had a lot. Or Michael Jackson or something like that, or he had a long career before him, but, Lauryn Hill took home, the top prize. Not just in rap, the whole ceremony, best album of the year, which was reserved for Taylor Swift. No kidding there. Nobody expected anything different, did they? Hope they didn't. If you were betting against Taylor, you might want to change your betting strategy. But I got 3 people watching me right now. I need 2 more people. I need 2 likes. Get those 2 likes up. If you're watching me right now, get the 2 likes up. I need 1, 2. Hit that like button. 1, 2. See 3 people in here. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you are. You're not in the live chat. It's been a long time. I know I'm rusty. I did research today. Tried to do as much as I could. But it's very rewarding, It's awarding. It's award for greatness in your specific field. It had to be hip hop, it had to be rap. They call it rap. They don't really call it hip hop in the Grammys. But Killer Mike, racist, complete racist. Grew up around black people, for black people, by black people, Phi-B, Phi-Bi. For for blacks, by blacks, for us, by us. But really, FUBU isn't really about blacks. FUBU is about hip hop. When they went, when people like the CEO, I can't think of his name, John, Damon John, he came up with the idea of FUBU with his other partners, and they weren't thinking about black people. They were thinking about hip hop. They were thinking about the name, the idea of hip hop. FUBU being hip hop, for us, by us. We weren't talking about black people. They were talking about hip hop. Okay. So, what do we have here? We have a brand new tie. Well, this isn't brand new, but it's a new tie to the show. It's gold. This is in recognition of my alma mater, my high school, Newark High School in Newark, Delaware. And this family friend who passed away suddenly, very, unexpectedly. He didn't have a disease. He didn't have any, he didn't have any issues with anyone or, anything. He just happened to, pass away. And he was he graduated from Newark as well. And he was super soul brother, but he was a white man. He had, if you went to his memorial service, he was cremated. If you went to his memorial service, you would have said, okay, how did they get so many black people in here? Like, he was white. He wasn't like, he was white, but he acted black, but he wasn't a wigger. I don't want to degrade the man, rocking power, and say he's a wigger. He was just a white guy who bonded with black people. He was like Eminem. He was like, you surround yourself with more black people, you're going to get a lot of, attention in relation to being black. He married a black woman. Kudos to him. Rocking power. I don't know if I can marry a black woman. I might not. I mean, I could, but rocking power to him for real. But yeah, I just want to talk about a few things about how we grieve, how we mourn, how we put each other, in positions of feeling a little bit lighter, feeling, with all the heavy burden of death, because it was just very unexpected. It was very unexpected, and I didn't want to come on and say to my dad, "Hey, can I use the Cowboys room?" It wouldn't have been too sensitive. It wouldn't have been, very, kind. I think, So I said, I'm gonna wait. Let me wait, a few days, and then I'm gonna do something different. But I'm here, and I just wanted to ask, there's three main things that I think of with death, and what they say. First, it's a funeral, and everybody understands a funeral. Funeral is when you have the body present at the service, whether open casket or closed casket. The body itself is intact. He was not intact. I said he was cremated. So he was, it was different for him. So it was a memorial service. But we have different names. There's the celebration of life. That's my favorite one. My favorite one is celebration of life. Because it says exactly what it is. You're celebrating their life. You're not celebrating their death. You're not saying, they died and it's so terrible, it's so horrible. You say, the favorite time you were, playing spades with him, and, he was about to get into a fist fight, and, it was calmed down. Everybody was cool. Or, you're watching the game together. You were voting for, you're rooting for your favorite team. All of that was going on. Everything was clicking. Everything was good. And it just, it's just a great way of saying, you know, an idea for somebody, you know, celebrating their life, a celebration of life. Of life. What is life? What is life? Life is, I'm looking at the wall right here. What is life? There's so many quotes. It's got so many quotes. Socrates says, the life unexamined is not worth living. That's just one example. I have 4 people in here and I only have 1 like. What is going on? 4 people. What are y'all doing? Can you not hit the like button? Is the like button detached from your keyboard, or what's going on? You can't hit the like? Can't go up there and go bloop, bloop. Like 4 people. I have 4 people watching me right now. What's going on? So, okay, so you know that they say celebration of life. I think that's the key understanding of what we should all strive for and try to be. Now, the one that really gets in my craw, the one that really gets in my nerves, and I really hate and detest, is disgusting, is homegoing service. Your homegoing service. He went on home. I don't like that one at all. That one implies theism or faith or some mystical dimension beyond the universe. That doesn't sit well with me. I don't like homegoing service. And then they have, you know, different names like Pilgrims and Pilgrim Baptist Church and, you know, things like that. I'm a wanderer in the wilderness. I'm a stranger in a strange land. You know, that's what they say about Earth, or, you know, being alive as a human being. You know, you're yearning towards heaven. Everything else is not up to snuff. Everything is inadequate in comparison to your vision of this place with pearly, you know, pearly gates and streets of gold and mansions. Like I said, once you get specific, then you get in trouble. You say, okay, so who built the pearly gates? Was it God or the angels? The angels built the pearly gates. Was there a union? Did they have contractors? Did they, you know, you get specific, then you get in trouble. You can't say stuff like that. Well, the mansions. Where are the you know? There's a song. I think it's by the Mississippi Mass Choir. One of them belongs to me, or something like it's. I don't know the exact title, but that's a phrase in the song. Talking about the mansions. I thank God for my mansion, or something like this. That's called. But it's essentially saying he didn't care. He doesn't know what color. He doesn't know what size the mansion is, but he knows that one of them belongs to him. That's what the songwriter and the singer says. That I have problems with, to say the least. There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is heaven and hell on earth. Heaven is when it's pro-life, pro-reason, pro-morality, you know, and hell is pro-agony, pro-pain, pro-death, pro, you know, all anti-life, anti, you know, enjoyment, anti-mind, anti-self. That's hell. So there's heaven and hell, but not in the context of saying some, you know, mystical ideal. We have heaven and hell present on this earth as we are right now, and what we are right now. And I still have 4 people. Whoever you are, just hit the like button. Just to let me know you have a pulse. Whoever you are out there, I don't know who you are, but I see 4 people in my doc. All right. I still see 1 like, but all right, I'll keep going. That's the one that gets me. I just don't understand it. I don't understand home going. Going home. You're home in heaven with what? There is no, you know, drowning. You're supposed to be drowning, but it's your ocean. The ocean belongs to you. You own the ocean, but you're drowning. But that's good, because that's life. That's humanity. It's a fight. It's a struggle. But you win. That's the greatness. I mean, if you're capable of winning, if you're capable of it, the fight. It's the fight. That's the thing. You're drowning, but you're trying to not drown. And it's not even that you're not drowning. It's that you're trying to swim. You're trying to survive. You want to accentuate the positive. You're trying to go for greatness. You're trying to go for excellence. That's the difference. That's what a lot of people don't realize. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Okay, so I got 2 people in here, and I still got 1 like. Drop 2 people and still 1 like. Okay. So that's fine. But yeah, so funeral, memorial services, like for the one I went to, it was not a body present in the casket. It was just an urn, I would imagine, full of cremated remains. So I would say that it's probably the best route, if you want to be, politically correct, and you could cover, both bases really with memorial service, because a funeral is a memorial service, but a memorial service isn't a funeral. You catch that? There's a difference. There is a difference. So you have to really understand the dynamics of what people say and how they say it. And I have people in my family, I love them to death, and they're still on that mystical side, saying like little messages come up and stuff like that. But I'm like, I just say, you know what? Oh, finally, 2 likes. Thank you. 2 people, 2 likes. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, BS. All right, BS. The man from that's what happens. Who's the third person? I got BS in here. Who's the third person? I got 2 likes, 3 people watching. Who's the third person? But yeah, so I wanted to definitely, hit on the mark. The difference between funeral, memorial service, homegoing service, and celebration of life. It was a celebration of life. It was a memorial service. It was a celebration of life because it was more, it was less, I think if there was, if he was, laid out in a coffin or a casket, it would have been more tragic. It would have been, I think memorial services will fit everybody. I think everybody should get cremated. You can do whatever the hell you want. But I would imagine it would be better if you were cremated instead of, have the traditional funeral where the body is displayed. Because it's like, it's almost like, unless you're the family that knows, for a fact that the person is, no longer there. And even if it's a closed casket, you have a better understanding of saying, well, there's got to be something in there. They can't just sit a closed casket empty up there. They can't just do that. I mean, they could. I'm sure it's happened at least one time in all human history. the funeral home or the mortuary service just sat the casket up there, no body in it, nobody, and had and had the idea of just having the casket up there with flowers on top. So it's very, it's a unique thing. But the memorial service was very, I want to say light, but it was very like clear eyed. It wasn't like tons of people were And though some people were visibly, shaken and very, visibly, distraught, because of his absence, because of his death. But for the most part, it was laughing through the tears more so, because he was not a downward guy. He was very upbeat, very, what's the next thing? And he's a businessman. He worked for a bank, you know. So so all right, two people, two likes. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. First day back. I'll take that. I'll take that. So that's what we're dealing with right now. That's the code. That's the way of understanding. Like, they're two diametric opposites. Celebration of life, homegoing service. Two things. Celebration of life, homegoing service. Homegoing service is the worst thing you can even imagine. There is no home beyond the sky. There is nothing beyond the sky except other planets and the moon and other stellar bodies. What's beyond this life is completely doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's not even discuss what is. Oh well, when you die, you go to and you go to. Who cares? Let's talk about life. Let's talk about what's going on in living, and the plays you're going to see, and the sculptures you're going to see, and the novels you're going to read, and the different geographic places you're going to understand and experience. Let's talk about that. That's not death. Death is death. This is the end. Death is after Z. Why are you concerned with after Z or Omega or wherever the case may be, wherever the context is, and say, "Oh, I'm Alpha and Omega." Okay, so what's before Alpha and what's after Omega? What's before A and after Z? Who cares? Let's look at all the different letters and see how many words we can come up with. That's life. That's life. That is living. That is controlling your actions and aligning them so that they make sense with everything that you do. That's the celebration of life, of the alphabet, not the before alphabet or the after alphabet, or zero and then the negatives, negative, 1, 0. Death is zero. Zero is just a placeholder in most cases, but it's zero. It's nothing. There is nothing. And if you try to say that there's a God, that's like saying 1 divided by 0. That's the exact example of saying there's a God. Whenever you say anything close to saying there's Jesus and the anointing and there's Muhammad and there's Moses and Buddha or Hinduism or anything of those natures, you're saying that there's 1 divided by 0. And you cannot have 1 divided by 0 or any other number divided by 0. It's always undefined, and that's what God is. He's undefined. You can't define God because there is no God. I mean, what is God? Is he wearing blue jeans? Is he driving a Ferrari? Once you start getting specific, you get in trouble. You can't have that. That can't happen. You can't get specific when you talk about God. Once you get to specificity, that's when you get into trouble. What was he wear? Does God wear high heels and drag? Is he a woman too? He had a son Jesus, but it was the Holy Spirit. Is the Holy Spirit a woman? Is it a man? Is it what is the Holy Spirit? What does he do? What does she do? You start asking questions, and well, Jesus is, and then God made man, and makes no sense at all, and they know it. And I'm just saying, from the faith that I was brought up in, there's too many other faiths and too many other ideals that I have no understanding or no background with. But I have 16 years of religious training under me, And I remember vividly going to my choir director as the choir president, youth choir president myself, going to the choir director and saying, I'm an atheist. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Because it's not God that I'm, going against. It's not Jesus. It's not anything like that. It's actual human beings. That's the weird thing that we have to contend with. We're talking about other people and the fact that you were one thing at one instance and then another the other instance. And it's not God. It's other people. That's what Ayn Rand said also. She said, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, the first belief in any superior is in any mystical idea is a superiority in others. It's putting other people above your rational faculty to think. That's what it means. That's what it stands for. That's the idealism that is present and what is still considered to be greatness. And that's why I try to keep my sanity, even though I said in the live chat, I've been in the 8 different psych wards. So now it's like, well, his opinion doesn't matter. He's crazy. It doesn't matter. Just irony. That's irony. I'm the crazy one for saying there's rational self-interest, selfishness. There's reason, the faculty to think, the faculty to understand, to realize actual objective facts, and have pride about myself, have self-esteem. I'm the crazy one, but they want to worship and praise something that isn't there. That's what I'm talking about. Something that isn't in existence. Don't even think about, don't walk by sight, walk by faith, or walk by faith, not by sight. I say walk by smell, not by faith, because faith never passes the smell test. Ever. Faith has never passed the smell test. It is complete, from a horse and or a bull, or you know what I'm talking about. That's what it is. That's faith. And it's sad because the majority of the world has it, and they're not there. It doesn't look like it's any signs of slowing up. As long as we continue to hire the same preachers and teachers and professors and the same thinkers that say, well, maybe there is a God, maybe there isn't a God. As long as there's people that are wishy-washy, and I would take a hardcore, 100% Jesus thumper, Bible thumper over an agnostic any day, because the agnostic will switch back and forth. She'll oscillate between, well, there is a God and maybe there isn't a God, and then there could be one, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say I'm either one or the other. That's the worst. I'd rather have the person that says, I'm defiant, I'm true, I'm real about Jesus, I'm real about Muhammad, I'm real about Moses, and I'm determined to be, in the heavenly host, wherever the case may be. Bahaja, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Salute to you, sir. I'm back in black with the set. Cut it loose with the news. I'm chopping up their lyrics, but it's AC/DC. Back in black. Yeah. 3 people in here. 3 people like, I'm not mad at all. This is a good return. This is a solid return. This is a very solid return. I'm feeling this. This is good. And Baja, I definitely did your sponsorship. I want to make sure you know that. I had your advertisement earlier in the broadcast. I want more people to see who you are and what you are and represent what you do. But yeah, so we got funeral, memorial service, homegoing service, and celebration of life. And it was an extraordinary outpouring. And he had mostly black friends. He was white as a loose leaf paper. He was white, but he didn't act it as quote unquote. He acted black. I'm saying that in the best possible way, not trying to, demean him, not trying to say he was a wigger. I'm just saying that he was very, uh, the way he was brought up, how he was brought up on the islands. He was brought up on the Virgin Islands, and then he lived in Wilmington, Delaware, which is predominantly black. And he had just a flair and a zest and a great sense of humor, and just everything positive. He was a very positive person. And if you got to meet him, you'd have said the same thing. He's like, wow, that's a real good dude. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude. So I think it's within reason to say that he was definitely a man that didn't see. He was colorblind, but in the best sense, not the sense of like I don't see color. Period. Whatever. You're a black person, I think you're a white person. You're a red person, I think you're a yellow person. Anything like that. That's not the colorblindness. Colorblindness was like I see you as a human being. I don't care what your skin color is. We can make deals. We can be trade. We can be friends. We can have good times. And that's what the best aspect of him was. The fact that he can make so many friends that weren't his skin color, that weren't, expected to be, within his realm. He had stepped beyond that. He transcended that realm. He transcended that way of being. And that whole totality of being in life. That's what was so great about him. That's what was so, wonderful, and the way that he really expected himself to be. He carried himself that way. He was a true gentleman who carried himself as a serious businessman, a jokester, a sportsman, so many different aspects and facets that just made him a true man. Like the Jews say, he was a mensch. He was an actual mensch. He was a man, after anyone's own heart. He was a true person. Salt of the earth, just an excellent all-around individual. And I stress the word individual because he wasn't, blended in just to be like, I want to be down with the brothers and stuff like that. He was like, I'm just my own person. I'm just myself. And if, nobody can understand that or get it, that's their problem. I want to be me. And that's what he really represented. That's what he tried to express throughout his entire life or the entire time that I knew him, which is about 4 years, 3 years. And it's just really a sad situation for people in my family, that lost other people that were close to him, and it's like another shot. It's like just a blow, you're reeling. But again, Balboa is drowning in the ocean, but he's got the ocean. He owns the ocean. The whole ocean is him. And he's drowning. He's drowning. That's what we're all drowning. We're all drowning. As if you're alive as a human being, you're drowning. But you're not trying to drown unless you commit suicide or you're attempting to commit suicide. But you're fighting. You're fighting to live. You're not trying not to drown. You're fighting to live. You're fighting for life. You're going for the positive, for accentuating the positive. That's the whole goal. That's the entire understanding of what you are and who you are and what you plan to do in your life, no matter what the case may be. That is it. That is the whole thing. That is the celebration of life, not the homegoing service, the memorial service, maybe a funeral. But definitely the difference between celebration of life and homegoing service is that you celebrate the person's actual existence on this planet until we branch out into the moon and other planets, on Earth as a human being. That is what, is ideal, to live as a human being on this earth. And with that, I say thank you. I appreciate the return. I had a good time. I talked about Killer Mike. I talked about the friend of the family that passed away, the reason why I was gone for so long. And I appreciate everybody who definitely came in, gave me 3 likes. I appreciate the likes. Thank you for all the viewers. I was up to 4 viewers. They weren't saying anything. They weren't liking it. So I don't know what the case was there. But 2 people watching right now. But I got to go. So thank you very much again. And I will see you tomorrow at some time that is not disclosed right now. Thank you very much. Take care.